Hello everyone, my name is Gracie and welcome back to Age of Wonders Planetfall. It's time to do another planet in the My Galactic Empire mode. So, after our successful conquering of the planet of Guesses 5 with Mr. Buck Muscles, who united everybody using a doomsday operation to put everybody into an AI consciousness controlled, kind of program, we're going to move on to our next planet. Now it's time to bring in a new faction and a new secret tech, I think. So, let's take a look here. So what we've done so far is we did Spirit Rise with DeGracie and the Emperor. We did Meltkor, Zithray, Ivaria, and Guesses. Two of these were lava planets, which was weird. But let's go into new... Oh, wait, you know what? Hall of Heroes. Let's turn off Tarvok. Tarvok is the weirdest hero. I think he's the least useful in a vacuum because his Kirko skills tend to synergize with Kirko, and his Celestian skills tend to synergize with Celestian. I feel like everybody else gets skills that are good in many situations, but Tarvok seems to have trouble with that. So let's make sure he does not show up in our game. So let's conquer a new world. So I think we had, where's that cool one? Yeah, Dio's Lament. Complexity extremely high. We have the Void. We have an alliance of 3 assembly players that will inevitably go to war with everybody else, which is extremely exciting. So we could end up at war with the 3 of them. Maybe if we're lucky, we can find a way to ally with them or ally with everybody else on the planet. That would be pretty exciting. So let's turn the opponent level up to hard. I think it's time to finally do that so that it gives a little bit more of a challenge. We've got the Hopperhound Hive. Spawners are common, and spawners produce more powerful armies. Our secondary objectives. The Void Tech respect those who command a measure of control over the Void. Each sector containing a teleporter claimed grants you substantial Imperial Renown and an experience boost. We want to defeat the Assembly Alliance. The Vanguard want me to do that. And thin the swarm, we should destroy the Hopperhound spawners to get experience renown and Promethean. That makes sense. Promethean experience. So this will be really, really cool. We have oceans and coasts are replaced by untraversable void. We can't even float or fly over it. But there should be teleporters everywhere to help us around. It's a Pangea. So that's interesting. I guess the void won't be as big of an issue then. If it's a single landmass. Where is the land? I don't even see any land in here. Game intensity normal, opponent level hard, world size large, 8 players. So 3 of those will be... So half of the players are me and the 3 assembly. So then there's only going to be 4 other players to play around with. So hopefully we can make some allies. So let's select our commander. I think I would like to recruit a new hero. And I do think that I want to make a... Amazon, of course, it's the last one. Let's make an Amazon. And what haven't we done yet? We haven't done Xenoplague. I don't like Xenoplague. We've done Celestian. We haven't done Heritor. Amazon Heritor? That'd be weird. We haven't done... Wait, is that the only one we haven't done? Heritor and Xenoplague. Yeah, so I guess it's Heritor because I don't want to do Xenoplague. So let's take everything off here. And the reason I want to do Amazon is I want to bring in those mycelium units. I think that'll be fun. Let's just grab all 3 of them, and then we'll be able to put our bioweapons group on them. Make some fun combinations. So at the Heritor, start with a Siphoner. We have Essence and such. Okay. So what do we want to do with our hero? Do we want to put her in vehicles? Do we want to make her ride dinosaurs around? Or do we want her to be a weapon wielding, like on the ground unit? Do we want her to be melee? Melee is hard to come by with Amazon. That's something we could do. The laser glaive, repeated thermal damage at close range, and a bioblaster. Sharpshooter equipment. Start with a Lancer, or we could do support and start with an Imperial APC. We just did a support hero, so either want to do the mounted combat, have her astride a dinosaur of some kind. I do like those. I do like the mounts. And a Vice. Data repository. I do like the random text to start with. So let's give her the Kleptomaniac. It's pretty useful. And then that lets us start with either skilled diplomat or veteran. Start at level 3, units gain experience faster. Let's do that one. We're going to need some bonuses anyway. That looks fine. That's something a little bit different than I normally do. The veteran. It could take a more intense debuff. Science down. That's not a very Amazon thing to do, but it would be kind of funny. Party animal. Production is lowered, but everybody gets morale in the commander's stack. That does not seem like a worthwhile trade. 100 morale in my single army for 10% production in all colonies. That's terrible. Let's not do that. Let's go next here. And then, oh, she looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Let's customize her a little bit, but I love her skin and her hair and her like facial features. Super cool. Actually, I might change her eyes though. Let's take a look here. Eyes. I'm sorry, did changing her eyes just change her gloves? Did anybody see that? What the hell? Can you look at the camera? Thank you. She's very intense. Very intense eyes here. Can you look at the camera, please? Focus? No, that's too... She could be like void tainted, you know? Like she could be like something like this because she's in this void planet. This would be a lot easier if I wasn't colorblind. I'm gonna go with that. I don't know what color that is. Like, comment, and subscribe if you know what color that is. Do we want any decorations? Look at her cheekbones. That's some high cheekbones. The background. We need something dark and spooky because she's from the void. She's from the void planet. So like a super dark, eerie kind of background? Not really. Honestly, these are all pretty colorful, which is generally a good thing, of course. I'll go with this one. It's got this sort of darkness with points of light kind of theme to it. I accidentally changed her posture. What do we want out of her? I like this one. It's got like a stoicism to it. Skin texture? Oh, no. I like her the way it was. Eyebrows. Can you please look at the camera? How do I... Do we want to give her a jaw ornamentation? I don't really want to cover her face too much, though. I think she looks really good. Maybe the torso needs to change, though. It's very, like, base Amazon. Oh, that's a pretty good one. That's cool. I like that. God, she is big. She is a muscular... Whoa! Your pants! Let's give her these things. They look more like equipment, like a survivalist would have, you know? Head items, probably not. Accessory? No. Glasses? Like, no. It's like a little crown thing. Which doesn't strike me as a crown. Cape's just get in the way. Alright, so we need a name for her. She is super cool. Let's change her. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that one where she's looking down, like in repose. Let's call her Anathema the Watcher. My headcanon for her is that this void area spawns, you know, sort of horrors from another dimension, and she dedicated her life to protecting the cosmos from that threat. So she watches out. But now all these fools have colonized her planet and are causing a stir that might awaken these monsters. So her job is to take control of this place and protect it. And then once she does that, she'll be initiated into the Builders. We'll come and help her out, of course. She'll find an ally in the Builders. Now we need to pick some colors for her. We might just give her sort of a dark color. Maybe a black and white theme would work. I wish I could actually get this color out of here. But I think green is sort of hard coded into their. What color is this even changing? This is doing nothing. So let's pick a symbol. Now, if she's protecting us from the void, I think I'll give her this symbol. It almost resembles like a vault door or something like that. Like she's her faction's purpose is to block the void from encroaching on our universe. So let's give her some. We want the flag to be black. Yeah, we'll just do white on black. Very simple. So Anathema the Watcher. So we've customized our new Amazon commander. So let's be done here. Let's head on into our requisition. So we want to bring on some help. So when the builders arrive to lend assistance to Anathema the Watcher, we are going to bring with us some units for her to use to help out. So let's go ahead and bring in the mycelium units. I think that'll be super fun. So we get the fertilizer, the planter, and the sprayer. Pretty cool. Operations, we want to bring in, I mean, honestly, it's really hard to not take replicating restoration. It seems to be one of the best mods, I have to say. Absolutely extremely good and fun. Let me pause and look through this increasingly large list of items, and I'll come back when I've made some decisions, and I'll talk about why I have them. All right, I have all of my requisition items chosen. So we have the mycelium units, just because I wanted to play with them. I think they'll be really fun to play with, especially this fertilizer with its AoE. For operations, I chose 1 tactical, 1 doctrine, and 1 strategic. So I have my tactical is the replicating restoration, which is just such a fantastic ability that bounces, clears status effects, and does a small heal. Extremely versatile. I use it constantly. For the Doctrine, I actually chose Frontier Survival. I just chose it for thematic reasons. It seems like if you live on the edge of the void like this on a hostile Pangea planet floating above nothing, you need to learn how to survive pretty well. So this way all of her colonies will get this plus 15 food as long as we have this on. That just might be a cool thematic thing. And I don't know what the food situation is going to be like on this planet. Maybe it's really bad and we'll need this. Maybe it's not and we can put it on just for thematic reasons and then get rid of it later when we don't need it anymore. I also brought this localized void rift that seemed also pretty thematic as a strategic operation. It also destabilizes enemies and does some damage to the stack. It doesn't do damage to the stack. It reduces their damage resistance by 2 and lowers their morale. So that's pretty exciting, actually, to be able to do that, because the Amazons have those biomancers that can scan units and lower their resistances by, I think, 2. So with the localized void rift and the biomancers, we can reduce enemies' resistance to all damage types by 4, which is really pretty painful. That negates a lot of defense, if not completely. So that'll be a really interesting combination to really nuke things down. For mods, I chose the Entropic Decomposer. This will go well with our Heritor stuff. It just gives entropic attacks a chance to apply atrophy that lowers their damage output. So this will be interesting. I'll be able to make them so our enemies resist damage very poorly and they do damage poorly. So that'll be a very interesting sort of situation where our enemies are kind of knocked down multiple notches on the totem pole where they can't even do damage and they take 1,000,000 damage. They're going to be kind of useless, which would be cool. Picked up this hazmat protection, which this can't be applied to animals, which Amazons have a lot of, but I still wanted to get it for some of the infantry and Heritor units. This gives units status effect resistance, tactical hazard immunity, and a piece of armor. This seemed like also a very thematic kind of mod to have available for a group of people who live on the edge of the void. They might need some special kinds of protections to keep themselves alive. And I chose nanite injectors. I struggled with this last one, but this is just a good all-around mod, especially on our beefier later game units like the Pteranodon that runs in. Once it's in combat, it can heal itself. This gives damage resistance to all channels by 3 for 2 turns, so pretty good mod to have on. It's only a tier 1, but I think it's the kind of tier 1 mod that can be useful for the whole game. It isn't really ever completely negated by later game mods. So I think that's our loadout for this game. I am excited to use Amazon. It's been a while since I've used them. It's been a while since I've actually really played much Heritor either, just because the community considers Heritor to be so strong that it kind of feels bad to play it. So that's kind of one of the reasons I've waited so long to play it in this Galactic Empire. But I think it's finally time to give it a go. And I am very excited about these Mycelian units that I was kind of fell in love with as soon as I saw them in the... forget which DLC that these came out as enemies, but now I'm excited to be able to use them. So let's go ahead and launch the game. We'll take a look at our starting area.
Amazon sister. You have used your bioengineering skills to adapt and survive on distant worlds. The collapse of the Union has freed you from ancient dogma and the slow-moving process of evolution. You have shaped your bodies, society, and environment to meet your own needs and ideals. But no, there are no universal truths.
Oh.
May your sisterhood create a brighter future for all on this world.
Good God, that's cool. Look at this thing and this planet we're headed to. Oh my God. So yeah, my headcanon is that she's not really landing here, is that she's always sort of been here protecting, but, you know, it doesn't really matter that much. Now, again, it shows 100% land. That's not strictly true because there's all these hexes of void or sectors of void that we can't use at all. So it'd be nice if it showed what percentage of the planet is land, because, like, accurately, because it does matter. I mean, it could be a lot of void and not a lot of land. I don't know. Now, the Amazons, if you're not familiar with them, they're experts in bioengineering, which is why they have a lot of animal and biochemical abilities at their disposal. They ride animals. They have trained animals like these funny little plant guys. They have different dinosaurs and stuff that they control as well. And the Amazons, I think, are all female, and I don't remember the reason for that, but they have they only have female characters, and they sort of grow people rather than have natural birth, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but they're an interesting faction. They're very worried about the ecology of planets and taking care of animals and the wildlife and sort of bringing ecological balance. They're a little bit opposite of the Devar in that sense. The Devar are like slash and burn, strip mine, pollute and leave, and the Amazons are like like regrow, renew, fix, save, help. So this will be interesting. So I guess my headcanon for Anathema here is that we've got more than a single planet's worth of renewing to do here. We've got a whole galaxy to save from destruction. So let's go ahead and make planetfall.
War has been declared on us. War has been declared on us. War has been declared on us.
Okay, so I immediately had war declared on me by those 3 players that we've seen before. Let's take a look at our starting area here. It looks like, do we have a little bit of void or no? Yeah, we do. Is this it? Oh yeah, here it is. Ooh, that's weird. Departed Wastes. Ooh, I don't like this at all. I thought it would be like we were floating over like an ocean of void, but it's like on the world, like creeping in almost. That's really weird. We can't go on it, right? Yeah, I don't think you can go on it at all, not even with flying. No. Ooh, I don't like that. There's some more of it up here. Ugh. Okay, so our starting area looks like we have the Paragons, which of course I do because they're on every single planet I've ever played in my entire life for some reason. Can't escape them. Some Hopper Hounds up here with their piglet buddies. That makes sense because that's what we're going to have a problem with this game. In fact, that's a spawner right there underneath. What is this? Some kind of structure right here being encroached on by the void. Some neutral Hopper Hounds. We have a standard here, although it is guarded by one of these big bashers. But I think they are, yeah, they're weak to biochemical. These mineral units always are. So that's actually really good for us because we should have a couple of different biochemical options early. Here's another standard, actually. Those are good early. We can get some easy levels. Looks like we started with a couple of animals. That's an Amazon bonus, starting bonus. So we have a Hopper Hound Manhunter and an Amazon Shrike. This is a pretty bad unit. 0 armor, 0 shield, and 30 health. Wow, can't get much worse than that. It seems to have a cool VR headset on, though. So that's okay. At least it can shoot. Range 5 is not high. We have to be careful with this one. If we keep it near melee units, it's quite strong, of course, but anything that can shoot it or flying and can melee it, we're going to have a little bit of a problem. And the Hopper Hound, I wish these metamorph... Oh, they do! They do metamorphosize into the Blade Mob. So if we keep this one alive or run it over those banners, we can turn it into a decent unit, which is actually this one here. The Blade Maw Tier 2. Much more powerful. Not super tanky, but they're very mobile and they do a ton of damage. Do they do... Yeah, bleeding. Cool. High impact stagger. Excellent. So let's take a look at our other starting units, and then we'll just call this episode to a close here, call this one an episode 0. I know how much you guys all love the episode 0s where we don't have any combat. So it looks like we start in a forest, of course. We have Anathema the Watcher. She's on her, what is this, a Lancer? Yep. Is this the one that, I can't get, yeah. Looks like we start with our Lancer. We have a instinctive controller. Advanced instinct controller. This unit gets 200 morale and 2 resistance to status effects, putting us at 8. And +1 shield. So this unit's actually pretty tanky. This will be our early game tank and is pretty unlikely to get afflicted with status effects like bleeding or stunned or anything like that. So that's actually quite helpful. Got a 10% crit chance right off the bat from that. We also start with the blurring canister. That's actually excellent. We can throw that, run into it, and then get closer the next turn, so we have a pretty good chance of evading and not taking a ton of damage. Have our Bioblaster, and we should have our repeating laser strike, and we can also throw a lance as a low-range attack, which is pretty neat. So that's cool. We also start with some extra points because we took the Veteran perk. Start with our Heritor, of course, our Heritor Siphoner. So this is just a sort of a basic shooty, but he has the ability to save up some energy points and then give somebody else another set of action points, which is very, very useful. So they make great sort of versatile units where you can use them as attackers, you can use them as support units. They're pretty fun. Oh yeah, everybody gets extra experience. Excellent. We'll start with our Biomancer. I talked a little bit about this unit before. This is the one that can scan. So you scan a unit, and it scans all units of that type on the battlefield, giving them -2 resistance to all damage types. So this is really useful because you can use it on a high priority target. Say there's only one, but it's like a Devar Earth Crusher, tier 4, and that extra 2 weakness could make a big difference against a big tanky unit like that. Or, you use it on like a Trencher and get scan information on like 12 units in the battlefield. So pretty versatile, very useful unit, and it has a cooldown of 4, so you typically only use it once per battle, but you can use it more than that. They can also heal, and they can also try to put a unit to sleep, and then they just sort of sit around doing nothing until they get attacked or until it wears off. We have our basic Huntresses. These units are actually pretty good because they have a low range attack, only 5, repeating 9, pretty basic. They ignore cover and unit penalties because they fire in an arc. But what makes them good is their flash arrows. This is a 1 hex radius stagger blinding attack, so it doesn't do any damage. But if you run a couple archers in at the beginning of a fight, you can blind groups of enemy units, making them just so ineffective that you can get your archers back out. Blinded units, of course, don't get melee Overwatch attacks, so even if they get in close to your archers and try to hit them, you can just run them back away and fire from back there, and then get your other units up in the way, say your tankier units. And we have another Shrike here. These are our scouts. So we start with 2 scouts, and we start with our random extra animal unit. Sorry, it's 1 unit, not 2. I misspoke earlier. So we'll probably send our scouts off right away and start taking a look at stuff. Looks like we started with Area Surveillance and Gift of the S-Tech. So 1 fairly useless one and 1 okay one to start with, but still 2 free techs, make it a little easier for us to get some important stuff. Start with our 50 Renown, which is not enough to do anything, but we're close to getting some of these pretty good early ones. Actually, all 3 of these could be useful, especially nanite injectors. Replicating Restoration is a really good early target. And we could also think about getting some of these Mycelians early on, just for fun. What else do we have here? We're distrusted with the Assembly. They do not like us, so we're already at war with them, and they don't like us. Okay. And popular support for us is approving, probably because we're at war. Yeah, So we actually start with minus upkeep, minus production cost for units, and happiness income goes up in our colonies right off the bat. So that's actually kind of a neat little starting perk. Take a look at our starting city. Looks like early on we're going to be going for some science and some energy and some food here in our starting city probably. So that'll be good kickoff point for developing our empire, but we'll need to scout out for a military city early, especially because we don't want a military city that's food and science. That's not going to make the best military city. So we definitely want to find some production and some energy sectors for those so we can make cheap military units that have the extra armor. If you've seen my other playthroughs, you know how obsessive I can get with developing my military cities precisely the way I would like them to be. But I do find that to be a really enjoyable part of the game. Well, all right, everybody. I know this episode's a little smidge shorter than usual, but I think we'll call this one to a close here. Nice and tidy. Wrap this one up with just introduction to the planet and our empire and our faction and that kind of stuff. So we will continue on in the next episode. I really appreciate everybody watching. If you're enjoying this content, you know what I'm going to say. Please consider liking and subscribing. I would appreciate that so much. And I will see everybody for episode 1.